Hello, everybody. Welcome to Class 12. Greetings from the West Coast of the US, Seattle specifically. Where are you watching this? If you're watching it live, you guys are awesome that you're spending time with me on a Friday night talking about childbirth and babies and placentas, and we're going to have fun tonight talking about all those important topics. And if you're watching this in replay, you matter too. And since you don't have access to the chat, let me know in the comments down below where you are watching. So it makes me, I'm trying to get my phone set up because we're going old school, and old school meaning how I did it the first few classes or many classes where we're going to have our game show tonight. So I had to make sure that my sound effects were set up. And we are going to practice because we've skipped out on practice for a couple of times because they were so content heavy, the classes, but we're practicing tonight. So hello to everybody in the chat. I just love seeing friendly faces. I see Hunter and Jeff, and hello to Tim back. Tim, no rush on the email. I understand. I've done it 4 times, and having a new baby, your day just blinks by and you're like, what did I do today? So totally understand. Hello to Lizbeth. Hello to Michael and Christina. And hello to friends that haven't been in the chat, but I know that you're out there watching. Hello, Judy. Welcome back, guys. I had a great day today. My top priority on my day was to drink coffee and stare at my Christmas tree. That's really what I wanted to do. I had such a busy week and everything was like, go, 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 that that was my top priority. So I got that done, got that in. I mean, besides class, of course, class is a priority every day, at least for the next today and 2 more days. Guys, can you believe we have been through so much? If you aren't an insider, there's a link down below to become an insider. And to keep up with information about the classes, it's only a few more classes, but I have a couple of post-class things that I'll send out. But I sent an email out today to the insiders with just like a few highlights. And I was going back through some of the classes and looking about what we did. And it was really exciting and it's always, whenever I first start a class, I think of like all the content I want to share. It's a little overwhelming, like, okay, we got a lot to get to, and I don't want to overwhelm people or talk too fast or confuse people. And then, each day we've kind of chipped away, and here we are. So tonight we are talking about the baby. Baby's over there waiting for me. I'm sure I'll use it. I got some tea. I'm doing the peach tea. I am doing my Universal Orlando Resort cup, hoping to be able to take my youngest child here next year. We'll see what, hopefully the pandemic, fingers crossed. Hello to Samantha and Monique. Oh my gosh, 2 new parents in the chat. I love it. Well, maybe more, but 2 new parents chatting. And Samantha, did I say hi to you, Samantha? Hello, Nicole. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so we're not getting away without practicing tonight. Made sure that I have that as a Post-it note. If you are an insider, you probably got an email from me about watching a video about skin to skin. If you were like Jeff, who emailed me or commented on the video and let me know that he and his partner watched then Gold Stars. If you didn't, that's okay. You can still watch it after. I forgot to put a link to it in this description. I did put a link, though, to the homework for tonight. So the pre-work was to watch the video about skin to skin. I'm going to talk a little bit about skin to skin, but that video really goes in depth, and I recommend it. And then the second video for homework tonight is about postpartum warning signs. And for any of you guys who have watched other videos of mine, I had this little wheel and I had different categories and put them on there. And it's been interesting to see which of the topics are like the top ones that people watch or the ones people don't watch. And Interestingly, though probably makes sense, this video on post-birth warning signs is not very popular. I think it only has like 200 views maybe since whenever I put it out, maybe in February, but it's really important. So I would love for you guys to watch it for homework between now and the next class or whenever. Yay. Oh yes, Judy, thank you for that feedback. I had no idea whether or not the nightly format was going to work, but yeah, you know, being on a screen and learning for more than an hour, I think is a little hard. I have taught 2.5-hour classes, and we took a little break in between, but they can be hard. So, whew, awesome. If you find anything that you're liking while we're talking today, hit the like button. That always helps other people find the videos. And if you are following along in the book, today I'm touching on topics pages 51 through 59, but I think I mentioned in one of the other classes that the section on, let me show you guys, this section on life after baby. So it's about postpartum healing. It's about parent and baby and just sort of all sorts of newborn stuff. Is pretty extensive. So I'm touching on that tonight. A lot of people educators like me teach a whole baby care class. So just know that, you know, this class, I'm really trying to focus this class on like those first few hours and the time at the hospital more than the whole postpartum period. So just so you know, if you get to the end of this class and you're like, I didn't find out about this. Well, that is one reason that I work with a book that can be referenced afterwards. So what else, people? If you are here for the first time and watching for the first time, make sure that you take notes and interact in the chat for the best, I think, learning experience, or write in the comments below also too, and put your questions in. So again, we are going to do, I'm going to sneeze, game show format, game show tonight. I need to put my slides up. Last night we talked about dispelling fears, and if you haven't had a chance to kind of go through that process of thinking about fears, put that on your list of things to do after these classes end. So yeah, awesome, cool. Michael, let me put your nightly format is great. Had to miss a couple live ones because of other commitments, but having the replays available makes it super easy to catch up. Awesome. Great. Thank you for the feedback. I will end up sending you guys a survey for more information because it would be so helpful to get that information. We're talking baby. So again, we've got the 3 sections. We're going to talk about how birth works. We're learning a new coping strategy today, and we're going to do practice and questions. So today we are talking about the placenta plus the baby, because when we spoke about, I'll grab the placenta. When we spoke about pushing the other day, remember if you watched that, I kind of like had to rush through the placenta and was like, I'll talk about the placenta later. It is an important part of birth. So placenta, we're going to cover, and new baby, and massage. Did I say that yet? We're talking about massage. Okay. Cool. So the placenta, my number one question that people get, or people ask me about the placenta, and actually if you, in YouTube comments and stuff, this is the first one, is people ask, and you guys might ask, throw it, that'd be interesting. Throw in the chat right now, type in if you have like one question on your mind about the placenta, because I find it, I don't know, surprising that this is the question. So while you guys are putting that in, the placenta is the amazing, like, disposable organ that we create, we use to transfer nutrients from bloodstream to baby. And then once baby comes out, we throw it away. It's done. Our body throws it away. It's so amazing. I actually had the privilege of teaching the placenta at my kids' 7th grade science class, and it was so cool because I was able at the time to bring in a placenta, and so the kids saw a real placenta, which was pretty mind-blowing for them. So the placenta is attached to the uterine wall, and through a series of hormones after the baby is born, the body tells the uterine wall to release the placenta. So that's when it separates. And this process happens usually within 5 to 30 minutes. And at that process, so 5 to 30 minutes, it can vary. Now, Michael, I should, where's my, you have, I don't know why my sound effects aren't working. Okay, ding, 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 there's my sound effect. That is exactly what people ask. Thank you. That's so funny. No one else said anything in the chat. It was quiet, except for Michael. Thank you, Michael. You took a risk and you got it right. The top question people ask is, does it hurt to deliver the placenta? Okay, so I'll get to that. I'm very close. The placenta releases, and what happens is it usually kind of falls down, sort of falls forward, and sometimes people feel an urge to push, or they feel a heaviness, or they feel like something is in there. Now, it does vary if you are unmedicated or medicated with an epidural. So with an epidural, you usually don't have a whole lot of sensation of the placenta. If you are unmedicated, something that I have seen happen many times is baby, I just kind of jerked that baby. Baby's born, right? And holding baby, da, 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 a couple minutes pass, la, la, la. And then all of a sudden you see the person that just gave birth, their face go like this. Something's happening. What's up? Why? What is happening? And that face is like, I feel like I have to push again. I thought I was done. Aren't I done? I'm done. What is this? That's the placenta. So that's the heaviness, the fullness, or the contractions of the uterus saying, get out placenta. So, but does the placenta hurt coming out? No. The placenta is no bones, okay? It's just, obviously it's not like this, but it is very flexible. One of the common things that I've seen is that a provider will say, your placenta is right here. It's ready to come out. Can you give a little push? And it's kind of like a, oh, done. Or can you cough? And I've seen people give like a couple big coughs and the bloop, the placenta comes out. Great question, Chef Quick, and welcome to the chat. What happens when with the placenta during C-section? So during a C-section, after the baby is born, and the cord is clamped, and then cut by the surgeon, the placenta will separate, and they will just remove the placenta out of the same incision, just as the baby came out. So, great question. I really like it. Okay. Oh my gosh, Samantha. I love this. Yeah. She thought she was having twins because she felt that pressure and was like, oh no, it's like a hidden twin. It's like you see on a soap opera or something. Yeah. Oh, great. Monique said she asked to see the placenta after, and it's amazing. Intense to see, but amazing. Yes. Oh my gosh. And that relief when the placenta comes out, that is no joke, right, Monique? It's like, especially if you don't have an epidural and the placenta comes out, it's like, finally you're done. It's almost like everything was, when the baby came out, it's like things were a lot more quiet. And then after the placenta comes out, it's like, oh, totally quiet. So good. Totally quiet. Now, yes, I wrote on here, actually in my notes, Monique, to say, if you want to see it, ask to see the placenta. When I was teaching those 7th graders, I had some moms in the class say, I can't believe my child saw a placenta. I didn't even get to see my own placenta. Can you do like a mom's version where we all come in and see what the placenta actually looks like? So I think, and first of all, if you don't want to see it, it's okay. totally okay. It'll just go away. But if you want to see it, usually the person that's showing it will kind of give you like some information, like this side was up against the baby, this side is rough, that's the side that was up against the uterus, and you can see the membranes and all of that stuff. So some people take their placenta with them. Some people bury, depends on different cultures and interests. Sometimes people bury placentas in their backyard next to a tree or in their garden, nice and deep. Sometimes people will dry it or have it encapsulated. So it's dried and ground up and put into pills. I don't go into depth on that because there hasn't been any clear evidence about what placenta encapsulation, what the benefits are. It's not clear. We see a lot of people report that there are benefits to mood and breast milk and that kind of thing. But since the evidence isn't clear, then I don't go into a lot of depth in that. So yes, so Christina, there can be some lingering contractions afterwards, not usually significant in the beginning. Sometimes people start feeling some contractions as baby is nursing, which is so amazing how the body like all works together. And then the more babies you have, the more of those lingering contractions happen. So we actually have a term for them called after pains, and they can be quite significant for about 2 days after you've had a few babies. So if you are on your third baby, second baby, third, depends on the person, they can be quite significant. I hated them, basically. I had to use my breathing techniques. You know, day 2, or 3, you're at home nursing your baby and the rocking, and it's like, why do I have to do this? But it is the way our body helps get our uterus back down to its original size, which is what we want for our health. Yes, Samantha says, I lost my comments. Give me 1 second about whether it has to be, what if it has to be removed, not delivered? So there are cases where the placenta doesn't separate properly, or there are a piece that's not separated, and that has to be done manually. It's very rare, though it is very painful. So very rare. What I will say about placenta. Oh, yes. Yes, I have seen. Have I ever seen that? I have. I've had many clients that get it encapsulated. I've never, where they, grind it into pills. But I have never had any, I don't know. I've never watched anyone eat a placenta. Was that the question? Oh my gosh. Good question. Though I like the Kardashians or something did it. I don't know. I don't follow them, but things happen. Yes. I think if you hear of somebody consuming their placenta, it's in a pill form. Let's talk about a couple of preferences. I don't want to get on my soapbox with this, but I'm going to kind of introduce it. The placenta, the body usually works. The placenta comes out, right? What research has shown us is that providers should not yank on the cord. They can pull a little bit, a gentle traction to see if it moves, like if it is just sitting there ready to be delivered. But aggressive pulling on the cord can actually lead to part of the placenta still being retained, called retained placenta. And it is a huge, it's a huge pet peeve of mine. I didn't really want to say it that way, but we're friends here. You guys know me. I'm not going to hold back. It makes me crazy, in fact, because when you watch a provider like a midwife or even a home birth midwife who's less hands-off, who's more hands-off on the delivery of the placenta, they're just waiting. They just wait to see, and then they check, and then fine, and whatever. But I've seen some providers like baby's out, clamp cord, put the baby on your chest, and then all of a sudden, trying to push down and pull out the placenta. I would say, partners, if you are witnessing that, to say something like, "Oh, is the placenta already ready?" I know that it sometimes takes time, and sometimes that will slow things down with a provider. And I mean, I think when doctors do this, sorry, I need to keep that. It's just out of habit, of training, and it's not really sort of thought about very clearly. I don't know. That's not, I'm saying that nicely. Okay, the other thing though, what I meant to talk about was delaying the cord. So the cord routinely used to be clamped as soon as baby was out. Clamp the cord, and then it'd be like, who's going to cut the cord? Partner cuts the cord or not. Mom cuts the cord, and then doop, that whole thing is over. But research has shown us that babies do better if they have delayed cord clamping. The time of the delay varies on where you're giving birth. So I've seen some practices say, well, 60 seconds is enough delay. Others, hospitals might say they do like a 3-minute delay. And then I've seen other people who say, I want it to be delayed for 15 minutes for, enough time for the placenta to come out and for us to see that it's really changed. It is pretty amazing how the placenta can go from like thick and dark, where you can see the blood flow, to just like thin, like a straw. Like if I had my main, well, I do have my straw that I use for everything. How many things can one straw be in a childbirth class? It can be the intrauterine pressure catheter, right? It can be how thin the cord can look after all the blood kind of either goes to the baby or to the placenta. Yeah, pretty amazing. Nicole J says, what happens if the placenta does not get delivered or removed? Well, there are some complications that if the placenta is not coming out, if it grows into the uterus, then you have to go in for emergency surgery fairly quickly to remove the placenta. That is rare. That's rare, a rare complication. If a piece of the placenta stays in and they don't realize that, it can have effect on your milk supply. So your milk cannot be producing because your body still thinks it's pregnant because of that retained placenta. That can happen. So we want a smooth, easy delivery of our placenta. Okay, moving on. So that's our placenta. If you have questions, put them in the chat. Now, what's happening as far as to the person who just gave birth? A few things. First of all, most hospitals will administer some type of Pitocin, some form of Pitocin, even if you go unmedicated. Now, truthfully, I don't know the standard practice in Canada. So let me just give a disclaimer that this could vary widely depending upon where you're giving birth. But I would say in the typical US hospital, big hospital, we see Pitocin routinely given postpartum through an IV or through a shot. IV, I see most common. Shot is another way. And the reason what that is done for is to help prevent postpartum hemorrhage. So postpartum bleeding, because the uterus where that placenta was attached and the placenta is gone, this is like an open wound, and that's where we're losing blood. So what we want is the uterus to close down over itself, close down over that wound and stop the bleeding. And if the placenta, if the uterus does not start closing up like that, then we can have a postpartum hemorrhage, excessive bleeding. So the Pitocin is done as a matter of routine to help prevent that. Do you have options about it? Sometimes, maybe, but it is pretty standard. At that time, after the birth, is when your provider will always check your perineum, to see if you have any tears. So they will check out, and also if there's any bleeding that they don't know, like if you had a cervical tear, very rare, but if there's any bleeding at that time, you would get a repair. Now, if you don't have an epidural, then you'll be given some numbing, a shot to numb the area, or many little shots to numb, kind of like if you had a dental procedure. And they will give time to let that numbing process happen. Same with if you have an epidural and it's not as numbed down there as it should be. So here's the thing about repairs that I want everybody to remember is good repairs, if you have a tear or if you had an episiotomy, good repairs can take some time. And it depends on the level of tearing, but you don't want your provider to rush this process. And sometimes I've had people say, like, you can ask what degree tear you have. Like, do you have a 1st degree tear, 2nd degree tear? That means the level of tearing. Common is up to a 2nd degree tear is fairly common for a first time person giving birth, but not necessary. So it is common, though it doesn't mean it's a given. And sometimes I hear people kind of fixate, like, how many stitches am I getting? You know, how much longer is it going to take? And those are fine questions, but, you know, your provider is working in a very sensitive area. And I would say focus on the baby. You're holding the baby. You really should, for best health of baby, to be holding baby during the during a repair, because you'll see in the skin to skin video that babies do best when they're their naked skin to your naked skin. Okay. But if for some reason you can't, if you're not getting good pain coverage, whatever, let's just say you can't. What you want to do is give baby to your partner to do skin to skin. So that is very important. Let's see. Okay. What else? Yes. So 2nd degree is common, but tips to be less than a 2nd for a first time mom. So gosh, tips for reducing tears. It's hard. This is a hard tip, but it is evidence-based. Like, good nutrition and good health can help your tissues be better. Here I am holding the baby. Can be better at stretching. So of course that's hard to tell somebody that in their, you know, when they're 2 weeks out or something, but also that slow pushing phase to allow the tissue to stretch is really important. So slow pushing. That's why sometimes we say that with an epidural, we have more tendency to tear, because we don't have time. We're just coached to like push the baby out. But with unmedicated, we kind of have time to just push slowly. That would be the other thing, Ellen, to avoid tears, is to find a provider that really cares about tears. Oh my gosh, that needs to be, like, I need to put that somewhere. When you interview your provider, do you care about tears? Because you can see providers that are just like helping the baby out and just doing everything to try to figure out how not to help you tear. And then you also see providers that are just like, you know, just kind of putting a hand up there, and then baby's head comes out, and then, you know, whatever happened. So I've seen a whole spectrum. I remember having a conversation with this midwife I worked with in Atlanta, and I said, I want you to deliver every baby because not everybody cares about tears. And she was just shocked. She was shocked. And she had been in practice for, like, I don't know, 40 years. She said, what do you mean not everyone? I was like, no, not everybody does what you do when you're helping to support the perineum when the baby comes out. Now, my eyes went over to the chat, and Tim, you asked one of my favorite questions. Should you continue to do skin to skin when home from the hospital? Yes, 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 yes. It is so awesome. It is one of my favorite things. I mean, when we talk about postpartum, it's like, keep baby naked, blanket over you, you know, with the diaper on, as much as possible, as much as possible. If you're cold, like put the baby in a gown where you can like put your hand through and you've got nice, your skin, at least your arm on them. I mean, so much skin to skin is helpful. It's really great. Yes, everybody, skin to skin is excellent. When you come home, no stopping. It's supposed to be just really help the baby's brain develop. It's really mind-blowing. It's very cool. Okay, so repairs are done. And then we also, let me change my notes a little bit. Another common thing that happens after birth is shaking, postpartum shaking. And it can happen with both C-section and with vaginal birth because there was such a change of hormones in your body. Also, there's a change in temperature. You went from this like warm little oven to no oven anymore. And so there can be a shaking. And so it's a little disturbing sometimes, but hang in there, it goes away. And then the nurses and the team, I talked about the scene change when you started pushing, just like in a movie, all those people and texts and people and blah, blah, blah. It starts getting quiet. That's the time where, as long as baby is okay, like if there was a NICU team there, they leave. The baby nurse, nurse leaves, and you end up with a small team of people, usually trying to kind of turn lights down and give that, what they call the golden hour, or we all call the golden hour, the proper time for it. So it's so great. It starts, cleaning up if there was, changing dressings, changing things. And we start going down to a nice quiet time. Okay. There are other things that are going on. You might start feeling sore if you've labored, whether vaginal birth or C-section birth, your muscles, if you have an epidural and it starts weaning off, your muscles might start feeling sore and achy. Now, you might blame me. You might say, Alice told me to do all that movement during labor and now I'm tired. Yeah, that happens. So sore, achy, your bottom, your perineum, you might have hemorrhoids from pushing. That can happen, not always, can. Sore, achy, and usually ibuprofen for vaginal birth is given. For C-section, we see an epidural. It really varies from where you give birth. But usually the epidural stays in for a few days to help with pain management. And then you move on to either a ibuprofen type or a opioid as well. Kind of depends on your preference. Whew. Now we get to talk about the baby. Let me take a little sip. How are we doing here? 30 more minutes or less. I feel like I have so much to talk about. Always. There's always so much. Okay, partners, especially with the vaginal birth. C-section birth, I cannot believe the variety that I see when it comes to when the person that gave birth can eat and drink. I have seen it then to be hours or immediately. Why is there such a variety? I don't know. But with the vaginal birth, partners start feeding now. Start getting your snacks, all those snacks I told you to bring, and just hand them to your partner. Because after you give birth, man, you are usually starving. It's one of those hungers. Have you guys, tell me in the chat. You guys are quiet in the chat. I need to hear this. Have you ever had that kind of hunger where someone asks you like, oh, are you hungry? And you're like, not really. And then all of a sudden it's like someone shows you the food and you start eating it. Like, oh my gosh, I just saw the food and I'm starving. So tell me. Yes, thank you, Hunter. No soapboxes. I'm staying grounded today. No soapboxes. So start feeding. Start feeding the person who gave birth. Lots of drinks, very important. Also, the sooner you can eat a little bit of something, you can get the ibuprofen. So, yes, Do the Pitocin, let's see, Melissa says, do the Pitocin, ibuprofen, and other meds get passed to breast milk if fed right away? You know, I know that all of those are safe for breastfeeding, but I don't know the actual answer to that. Like, is it passed? How long does it take? I don't know, but they're very safe for breastfeeding. Yep. Okay. What just Michael said, that's every day. Jeff White said, absolutely. Yeah. Okay. Judy, time to break out the sushi finally. Yes. All of those things that all of those things that you've been delaying because you don't want to affect the baby, right? Like ham sandwiches or something because of the listeria, lunch meat, sushi. Oh, I know. It's like people get to just experience all their loves again, which is so satisfying. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the baby. That very first bit time with the baby. First of all, a baby's newborn appearance can be startling to people. If baby has been in the birth canal for an extensive amount of pushing, a cone head could actually extend like this. Can you guys imagine that? Like up to about right here. It can be an extensive cone. Maybe that's better. Where it's like, whoa, okay. Babies can be bruised all around their, look kind of puffy and bruised. Their hands, their feet can be bluish, grayish. Sometimes they have vernix, which is that like Vaseline-ish white coating that covers their body when they're inside the fluid of the amniotic fluid to help keep their skin protected. It's amazing. Some babies have hair that goes away. What else? And they just can look a little bit odd. Oh, swollen genitals. Both female and male swollen genitals, and that's kind of surprising if you didn't know about that. And so don't be surprised if you're like, oh my gosh, wow, my baby's kind of different. Not that you would think that, because most people think their baby is beautiful, but it is amazing how this baby is going to change in just 24 hours. The swelling is going to go down. The color is going to change. And even with cesarean birth, we also can see some swelling, especially if they were malpositioned. We might see some of that. One thing that I have noticed is have you ever seen those just beautiful birth pictures on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, where, it's like this, where, those are wonderful and beautiful. Sometimes I, though, will see the person that just gave birth kind of have this look on their face like, what the heck just happened? It's like, huh? And I had a partner one time kind of pull me over and say, is she okay? Because my client was just like, huh? It is a little bit mind-blowing. I say that a lot, mind-blowing. How many times do I say that in a class? That's birth. It is mind-blowing. Something that was in here for 9 months came out of here and is now on your chest. What? It is a little bit shocking. So don't be surprised if you have a flood of different emotions. Also, partners, if you feel faint at any time, if you feel overwhelmed with emotion, sit down. I know I shared in some video. I don't think it was in a class. First time I saw a vaginal birth as a doula, I was the doula. And I thought I was going to faint because it was just so much of just like, whoa, So watch yourself, be careful, take time. If the baby has had their first poop inside the womb, that meconium, and I talked about that a little bit when we talked about the monitoring, babies might have to go to the warmer in the room to be checked out by the nursery team or the NICU or just some extra nurses. So sometimes that immediate skin to skin doesn't happen. If baby has to go to the warmer, so say they're over here in the warmer, I really suggest partners come over and talk to your baby. It's the most amazing thing. You start talking to the baby and they like turn their head towards you. It's like, because they know that voice. So, and it's supposed to soothe them and bring down their stress hormones. So just saying, hey baby, happy birthday, welcome, so glad to see you. Aren't you great? La, la, la. Just talk to your baby. And then let the nurses know, hey, as soon as possible, we want to do that skin to skin. So either whoever can do it, either birthing person, support person, skin to skin as soon as possible. Yes. Okay. La, 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 just looking. Also, if you have your phone, of course you're going to have your phone, right? We all have our phones. Great time to take some of those pictures. You can delete them later, but I love some of those first pictures. And also you can ask the nurse, hey, can you take a picture of the three of us? I love the picture of partner giving a kiss that's the picture I always try to get as a doula. I like have the phone ready to go because that often happens, not always, sometimes. But asking to snap a picture by the nurses, they will say no if they can't. But they often really like to do that too. This baby, for best breastfeeding success, we want to look for cues that they're interested and then try to latch within the first, and that happens within the first 40 minutes. Granted, with the C-section, cesarean birth, we might not be able to get that done. That's okay. This is ideal. We just try to do what's best, do as best as we can. But we don't need to like baby on our chest. Okay, let's start trying to nurse. We don't have to do that. We look for the baby to do the cues, to move when their cheek is touched and they move their head, when they start thrusting out their tongue. Those are really, they maybe try to put their fist in their mouth. Those are important cues to look for when you're just holding. So you're holding baby, repair is happening, placenta is coming out, talk to your baby, get some pictures. I love a video of like the first cry is a good one to have. That's what I try to take when I'm a doula. And then just start looking at your baby, looking for cues. Always use your resources, especially with early breastfeeding. So help from anybody, help from the nurses, help from lactation consultants. Even if you feel like everything's going great, I like to get a second opinion always. Have you guys ever, speaking of breastfeeding, have you ever taken, some of you might be dancers, but if you're not a dancer, or even if you are, have you taken a dance class or ever danced with someone like a ballroom dance where you're both learning at the same time and it's like so dumb awkward? Like, I'm trying to get it, but I'm not. We actually took a family dance class. So it was like solo in January before everything shut down. It was so fun. It was a post-Christmas present for our family and everybody was willing to do it. Well, if you've ever done this kind of dance, trying to learn a new dance from someone, it's hard. So think of that when you think of trying to breastfeed. So if you're breastfeeding and you feel frustrated, it's because two people are trying to dance that have never done it before. And so it's going to be some trial and error. It's going to be some bumpy roads. And it only, just like dancing, it only gets better the more you practice and have to do it and have to do it and have to do it. So, but getting help is important. Okay, how are we doing in the chat? We've got 15 minutes. What else do I want to show? Let's do our game show, guys. Let's do a game show. I promised it. So that means I need chatting fingers for game show. Support the channel, share about the channel, share about the classes. It's such a huge help. I know you guys are, so thank you. Yes, it is so awesome that they react to your voice like that, right, Judy? It's amazing. It's amazing. Also, if you have a dog that barks, sometimes people think, oh, the barking dog's going to wake up my baby. That baby heard the barking dog. heard your dog when they were inside. So they're usually like not fazed by that, which is also cool. Okay, question number 1. Babies must be fed within 1 hour after birth. True or false? And I'm going to make sure my... Okay, good. True or false? While I'm waiting for you guys, I will put Tim's baby's umbilical cord just fell off. Yay! I didn't even talk about that. That can take up to 10 days. So awesome. Okay, we've got some true, false, blah, 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 blah. Okay, that is actually false. So babies don't actually have to be fed within an hour. Babies can go for a long time that first day without actually taking in much substance. They really just need to be, they need to practice. They need to practice latching. They need to be on, off, practice, practice, practice. It's helpful. Why did I put massage here? I've been looking at this the whole thing instead of game show. I don't have my game show slide, do I? What a dummy. I'm like so focused. You guys don't care. I know you're like, whatever, Alice, we've seen your slides. Okay, babies don't have to be fed. So if baby isn't latching well within that first hour, no problem, no problem. It should be some time before babies actually need to be fed. I don't know the exact time. Also, it varies by different hospital policies, but they don't need to be fed immediately. Cool. Okay, next one. The support person or partner can do skin to skin, and there are still benefits to the baby. So I know we talked about that, about skin to skin, but that the baby still has benefits. Let me know what you guys think about that. True or false? Let's see, let's see. Saturday night. Got some trues. True, awesome. Yes, true, true. Yay. Baby still has benefits with partner. So don't, and sometimes I've seen when it's cold, like in a cold room, I've seen partners like wear a button down shirt and they just button it down to here and like pop baby in. It's so cute. It's like a little pouch. So cute. Anyway, okay, next one. The rush, there's a rush of adrenaline, a high that's common after birth for the person that gave birth. A adrenaline high. Is that a real thing or is it a myth? True or false? You guys let me know. And just a reminder while I'm waiting for your answers to come in, that Monday, our last class, our 14th class on the 14th, we're doing a massive Kahoot quiz to test your knowledge, compete with your fellow viewers, and have fun too at the same time and continue our learning and our consolidating of information. So we've got trues and falses in the chat, and it is true. So we see more of a high with a unmedicated birth, but we do see that adrenaline come in for even for a epidural birth as well. So the thing to note about it is that the high will fall, and after a few hours postpartum, when baby sleeps, everyone has to sleep. Everybody has to sleep. It eventually just fizzles out. So when baby is asleep, don't do things like try to talk to friends or catch up with your parents or whatever. No, sleep, 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 sleep. Okay, final one. The role of the support person, that supporting role, is finally finished after birth. True or false? I forgot to do my buzzer. Or true or false? Supporting is finally done. False. Was that a trick one? Of course you know that I'm going to say that. Yeah, false. So support continues. Support continues, especially with that early breastfeeding. Oh, Denny, I love it. Heck no. That's right. Heck no. Gotta keep supporting. It's so much of the same. Like this thing, this water bottle, always hydrating, breastfeeding, recovery, all of that. So much. Okay. 10 minutes. Thank you, Hunter. Let's move on to massage. You've already seen the slides. You know it's coming. Massage and just touch in general during labor. And we're going to definitely have a practice today. I wrote a big orange Post-it note. Oh, I said practice time. Massage and touch during labor. So you guys watched the video about counter pressure. So that's more of a pressure pushing. What I mean by massage is more of a light touch or a comforting touch, not a pain management touch, more of a comfort. And I find that sometimes you'll hear people's stories. I didn't want my partner to touch me in labor at all. I didn't want to be touched. Yeah, that can happen. Sometimes that can also happen midway through labor, like early labor, massage is fine. Then active labor, don't touch me. So I always say it. I say it in the Supporting Her course is don't take anything personally. You just got to try. You just got to try. And then, of course, if it doesn't work, that's fine. So some of the places where massage can be very comforting are shoulders. Okay, shoulders, even like arms, like especially if you have an epidural and you're kind of laying on one side and one side up. I'll demonstrate what a good touch looks like. So starting from one side and going in a rhythmic fashion, the same direction. The biggest mistake that I see when people try to touch or give comfort through touch is I wrote down random rubbing, like patting, just kind of no process to it. So sometimes I'll see partners kind of like, do this kind of thing or no, we want long strokes, one direction. So if we were doing shoulders, we would do kind of this number. If we were going to massage hands, we want to do this. Okay. Feet, same thing. One massage, not a random, also anyone who's ever given a massage or gotten a massage, which is, I'm sure everybody, and I'm not talking about like a professional massage. I mean, those are amazing, but anybody in this chat, have you ever been the recipient of the massage and you think like, that was really short. Like, really, are we done? Is that all the massage I get? And have you been on the other side of the coin where you're kind of like, yeah, I'm done. I'm bored of this massage. This takes a lot of patience. Let me know. Usually the person giving the massage doesn't continue for a long enough amount of time. So steady pressure, one direction. Also, when the contraction comes, if unmedicated, usually people like touching to stop. So can you imagine you're like massaging your client, massaging your partner, shoulders, and then here comes a contraction, and then you just put your hands down. Ooh, do some good mirroring. Ooh, okay. Ooh, visualization, vocalization, all that. Contractions over. Start the massage again. Okay. So practice. practice. And you might practice and be like, we did our whole practice that Alice requested that we do. And then in labor, she didn't want any of it. Okay. That's okay. We don't know. We got to have these tools in our toolbox stocked up. So that is my quick massage tutorial. You can layer it in with all the other techniques. J Peace, I love this. My husband is a carpenter, so he's not allowed to rub me with those sandpaper hands. I get you. You know, we got to work with what we got, right? J Peace, peace. We got to, you know, he's going to use other techniques. Okay. I'm going to run through the coping techniques that we have learned so far, and then we're going to do our practice. Okay. So not necessarily in the order that I taught them, by the way. So in the very beginning, we're going to deny and sleep. Then we've got breathing. We've got limp and loose in labor. We've got positions, right? We've got positions. We have movement, rhythm. We have vocalization. Ooh. We have continuous support. Thank you for that water. We have visualization, walking. We have a peaceful environment. We're going to turn these off. We're going to put on my favorite music, put on some Dave Matthews, Jack Johnson, Indigo Girls. Okay. We are going to jump in the shower for all of this. Right? Counter pressure on our back, either with our partner, or we can put a ball between our back, even use some rhythm and do that. Before all of this, we're going to talk about our fears and dispelling our fears to break that fear, tension, pain cycle. And then our partner support person is going to do a massage in between contractions. So after it's over. Okay. So while I am changing my dashboard to get to our 30 minutes, I want you guys to be thinking about which ones you're going to use, because I really want to hear in the chat which ones you practiced. So think about which ones you practiced. And if you have a support person there, you can try out a massage if you want. You can always do that for homework as well. And we will do our 30-second practice. Now, as you were thinking about it, I'm going to put my supporting her up there. I know a couple of you are already in the supporting her course, but if your partner needs some extra support, that's what this course is for. Really getting our partners up to speed. Look, I'm going to do this great one day. Okay, I talked enough to get you guys ready. You have enough time. So here goes our 30 seconds. I'll see you on the other side of practice. Hey guys, welcome back. Welcome back to practice. Back from practice. Please enter in the chat what you practiced, your layers, or at least one or something that you really tried hard on. Ooh, Tamala, while we're doing that, let me show what Tamala said. A massage therapist. If you use your own body, lean into your person and give the pressure instead of pressing down with your hands. Yes. Okay. I love this. So if you're doing pressure on the back, right? You, as the person giving birth, can push into the person's hands, your support person's hands, to the right amount of pressure. So you might just and then that or less. Awesome. Yeah. Elizabeth, I love it. Did a massage on myself. Still felt nice. That's right. Denny said breathing and movement. I love that. TN said vocalization, position, and movement. Massage and visualization. I love that you guys have a different variety. Thank you, Jeff. Oh, Jeff said it's a great course supporting her. Jeff is in there. That's awesome. Thank you, Jeff. Thank you. Awesome. So variety and practice. Also, a couple of you guys have asked, and I'm sorry, I need to catch up on my emails. Again, it was a crazy week. I had to sit and stare at the tree today, about the music for the 30-second practice. And I'm trying to figure out the music because what's interesting is I use a streaming software called StreamYard, and it makes all of this stuff easy. So, putting things on the screen and doing sharing the screen and all that stuff. Anyway, it came with this 30-second video. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect because I can just use that for practice. So I don't actually know what the music is. And I was distracted for a second because I heard my doorbell. We are having pizza tonight. When I was getting ready for this class, my son came up and he said, I just wanted to let you know that we have all decided that we want to have pizza tonight. So we're just waiting to hear back from you. You have to decide. It's like, okay, well, I don't want to let them down or anything. So I had to agree to pizza. Position, yay, position and breathing. Oh, Tim, skin to skin, yay. That's awesome. Feeding the baby. Good job, everybody. So practice doesn't have to be limited to our class together. Anytime that you can practice either alone or with a partner is great, especially the breathing. Especially the breathing is really important. Okay, so we have 2 more nights. Now, I'm excited for tomorrow night because it's going to be our grab bag. So I have like a list that I'm just going to go through and hit some hot topics. I know some of the things that I still would like to cover is nitrous oxide, IV pain medicine, postpartum depression. These can be big topics, but I want to hit on a lot of them. And Lisbeth, yes, practice breathing when you poop. Love that. That is excellent. It's a good time we got something to focus on, right? So tomorrow we are going to talk about a grab bag of stuff, which is going to be really fun. If you have questions or like topics like, oh, Alice, I need you to cover this, enter them as a comment to this video because I will definitely see them very easily that way. Also, if you haven't hit the like button now. And if you want to share it with someone, and I just want to thank you all for hanging out with me on a Saturday night and talking about such important issues. And it really, really, really makes my day when I can talk to people that are interested in this topic or on their way to birth for an hour. It's really cool. So thank you for giving your time. Thank you if you're watching this in replay. It's time for pizza. And I'll see you guys same place here tomorrow night. Okay. See you. Bye. Thanks so much, guys.